Well, welcome everybody. A Place for Wellness call. Once again, here we are on this beautiful Wednesday. My name is Ryan Gregg. I'm here in, you guessed it, foggy Bellingham, but it's beautiful. It's still fall time here. The leaves are mostly fallen, but there's a ton of beautiful yellow and reds out. So it's a beautiful fall time here, and it's a beautiful day because it's Wednesday and it's our Place for Wellness call. As you guys know, we follow the 15-point plan that Ben created. Ben Keeney created this a long time ago. And I've shared this a little bit, but I just recorded a podcast for the 15-point plan. It was the kind of send-off podcast with Chad and Jolene and Jacqueline Smith and myself, where they kind of pass the torch to Jacqueline and I. So that will drop in a couple weeks. And starting in the new year, yours truly and Jacqueline Smith will be the new hosts of that podcast. So I'm super excited to have one more platform around health and wellness. A lot of it will be tied in with exactly what we talk about here. So that was a big win for me. We've heard some other wins in regards to Banning and his strength, Christina and her health and wellness journey, Amanda competing in a bodybuilding competition, which is just, it's incredible. So I'm super grateful for this call, like I've said, and I'll say it again, for everybody that joins here, that shares the call, that shows up, and just brings some energy and reduces our stress. That's the only mission behind this call, is to have a community around health and wellness where we can increase our energy and we can reduce our stress, right? And as you guys heard from last call, we're taking this whole thing to a whole new level. Like, we are taking this whole call, this whole health and wellness thing to a whole new level. We are now official within the Place world as a space for wellness, right? Place for Wellness is now a space within the space world, which means it just is going to get a little bit more publicity. It's a little bit more official and formal within the world. But there will be a couple little changes, right? Emma and Andrew are ambassadors for the space. Emma, what do we need to know about the couple changes that we might see with this call specifically?
So the main change I really would see is for it to be showing up on your calendar, or where you would get the link to join. You need to start following us on the wellness space. I just put the link in again for you guys, and then that way it will share to your guys' calendars, or you can just go into the space and click the link there to join. The other thing is we're not going to be keeping it as a reoccurring, because the way that we post on it is a reoccurring, let me rephrase that, it is every Wednesday, but you will get the update on Monday. I will be posting, hey, here's what we have coming this week, because then that way I can be a little bit more detailed and give a little insight on what we're going to be going over that week, instead of it just being a reoccurring and it says the same thing every time. So that's all I have for you right now. And I'll let you know as more things happen. But yeah, that's the main change, is just making sure that you're following us on the space so that you can get the calendar invite.
And I think we had a question, and if anybody wanted to share this, Emma, if they're not on that space or not able to access that, can they still access the link and access the call?
I'm gonna have to ask the space team and see what we should do there, Sheila. Totally didn't even think about that for you, since you're with Branco. So I will ask them and see how we can work around that.
Because technically she's place / Branco. Branco is place.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have
access
to that, our place.
Okay. That's a good thing to pop up, and I'll ask about that.
Yeah, and she will do whatever it takes to figure out a way, Daggett, because you are an important part of this call and community.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So we're in the month of November, which some people are celebrating Thanksgiving. And so we have tied in that part with our service from the 15-point plan, right? And one thing I want you guys to think about, and maybe we'll take a vote at the end, maybe I'll just do it, but I'm wondering if we should have a call next week. The reason is because I know a lot of people travel. I got family that'll be in town. I'll just drag them onto the call like I'm dragging them onto the turkey trot the next day. But if you guys want to pop into the chat, either a yes or no, this call is not just mine, it's for all of us. So we can do a little vote or see what we want to do as far as the call for next week. I could go either way. But like I said, this month, it's really about serving and service and, looking at the 15-point plan. How can we volunteer, donate, help an organization or a friend in need, and do what you can to get your mind off yourself and focus on others. So we'll continue on this theme. And then next month, we'll really talk about time, because as we get into the new year, it's important that we protect our time for ourselves. And I think everybody's done a really good job of realizing how important it is to have the time for yourself. Is that selfish? You know, people will say, oh, I got my kids, I got my hubby, I got my wife, I don't. But here's the thing. If we're not feeling well, if we're sick, if we're not energized, we're not going to give them our best self anyways, right? So do your friends and family a favor and make sure that we're protecting our time and that we're doing everything we can, like Deanna's walking right now because she knows her time is limited. She wants to get that energy up. Do everything you can to protect that time and do those things from the 15-point plan that give you energy and reduce your stress so you can go home to those people that you love with more energy, with less stress, right? That's the goal here. So that's the theme for the next couple of weeks. Like I said, you'll be seeing the rollout of the 15-point plan podcast. So I'm excited to just tie all this stuff together and allow me to stay more accountable to my health and wellness, because that's selfishly the reason I do this. You know, the more I talk about this, the more I got to learn, the more I got to bring value for you guys. So we brought this up a little bit last week, but I wanted to share what I got going on, because Banning, you know, but I got this dang jug here. And some of you follow me on social media, some of you don't. You're like, what the heck is that?
Is that, I don't want to steal your thunder, but was that the thing you were making with the freaking cucumbers and all that?
No, it's lemons and limes, right?
Oh,
So,
okay. I thought they were cucumbers. Okay.
Yep. Cucumbers would be great. I would love to eat a cucumber right now, Andrew. And let me tell you why, because I haven't eaten anything for almost 2 days. Now, all jokes aside, like I know that we get into some personal stuff on this call. And so I'm going to get personal with you guys for a minute. I've been doing my best to stay healthy and well for a long time. So I was super caught off guard when I got some blood work done and they told me my kidneys are not acting the way they should. My kidneys, I'm going to say it because it freaks me out and I just need to get this shit out. Excuse my language, but they diagnosed me with stage 3A chronic kidney failure. And that is freaking scary. Like, those words are scary, guys. Now, here's the thing. Like, it's not as bad as it sounds. And I'm going to beat this. You know, like I just thought of Karen Smythe. Like, you guys remember when Karen came onto the call and she's like, hey, like I cried for a second and I moved forward. That's been my attitude. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because you guys are my community, a place where a safe space where I can share stuff. And, you know, we'll be fine, right? But that's the scariest thing I've ever had in my life. Like, I've never had anything like this. And so doctor was like, hey, just cut, you know, turns out it's like a protein thing. Like, Bannon, we talked about protein last week. And what it might be is an excess protein. Like, my kidneys aren't processing the protein as they should. And I've been eating a lot of protein because I've been trying to like pack on muscle and train and all these things that like I thought were healthy and maybe they're not. So my takeaway is 2 things. Number 1, when we hear things that are healthy, make sure it's healthy for our body. Like, I think I shared with you guys, I was a vegetarian for a very long time. And then I introduced meat, and I'm guessing maybe my kidneys just like weren't used to eating that much meat. You know, I weigh 175 pounds and I'm eating a gram of protein per day. That's a lot of protein. Like, when you look at anybody that's like lifting or training, like, it's like, yep, a gram of protein per day. And so I just kind of followed that and it was working. Like, I'm building muscle, but at what point are we building muscle and like hurting our insides? Like, it's not freaking worth it, right? So that was my takeaway, was when we see people doing things, we got to make sure what they're doing is also right for our body. You see me working out, doesn't mean that's what's best for you. You see me fasting, that doesn't mean that's what's best for you. So, you know, check with a couple other people, get your blood work done. That was my other takeaway. Like, I hadn't gone to a real doctor in probably, I don't even remember the last time. And had I not got blood work done for a physical, I would have no idea this is going on because I have 0 symptoms. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just a real estate guy that happens to be into health and wellness. But like, get yourself checked out. You know, I'm 42 in a couple weeks. I'm at that age where like I got to be mindful of this stuff. So there you go. I just want to share that with you guys. And what I got here, it's called a master cleanse because I need to clean I just need to like filter stuff out. And so this is 1 gallon of water with 10 lemons or limes and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And that's all that I am consuming for a few days. And it's hard. Like, it's super hard. I was walking down the hallway yesterday and somebody was making some food, and I don't know what it was, but Andrew, it smelled like food, and like I got hungry. So a takeaway, and Banning, I'd love to hear some of your takeaways on this, and then we'll just kind of open it up because I don't got much more. Is that number one, it's hard because you get hungry, but number two, it's a good mental cleanse. It's a good mental, like, you know what, am I hungry? That I need to eat. Like, I always eat at noon or 12:30, like lunch. It's lunchtime, but I'm 12:30. My body's like, dude, you're hungry. But what will it do for our brain and for our discipline if we don't? And now I've been really getting into learning more about fasting and the benefits of it and cleanses. I've done a handful of them over the years, but I do believe that there are incredible benefits to your body and to your cells and your cellular growth and cellular regeneration by limiting our food intake and completely eliminating food for maybe some time, 3 days, 7 days, or more. So I will continue to learn on that and share on that and find out what I can so that you guys can have some ideas on that if you'd like to try it. But Banning, you've been fasting. You do it for like a day or a day and a half at a time. It's been incredibly good for your weight loss journey. I've lost 5 pounds in 36 hours. I'm not trying to lose weight, but like, tell us a little bit about your journey, Banning, of what you've been doing, what's been working for you as I take a chug.
Yeah, I mean, right now I do 36-hour fasts every other day. So 36, and then I can eat for 12 or whatever, 18. Or yeah, 12, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I can eat. And those fasts are, you know, great. It's very difficult, like you said, like super hard. And there are easy days, there are hard days. Like, there are days that I don't even think about it. I'm doing other stuff, I'm busy. But like yesterday I was sitting in Bold and I couldn't eat. I was fasting, and they catered barbecue for lunch. So I'm sitting there next to everyone else eating barbecue, and I'm like, God, I could really use that right now. But it's definitely a little bit of a mental exercise on top of everything. It's learning how to like deny your voice in your head that's like, dude, just try it, like, because you'll like, it's that devil on your shoulder thing where you've got that voice that's like, dude, no one's here. Like, if you sneak a chicken nugget, no one's gonna say anything. And it's like, okay, true, and no. And like, you get really good at that. Like, I bought cherries the other day, and I have a weakness for those like fancy cherries. And they were sitting there, and I stared at those things last night for probably 10 minutes. I'm not even kidding. But it's totally a mental exercise. And the longer fasts like you're doing, I've done a 5-day fast before, and then I did one 7-day fast. Those are like, you're borderline hallucinating by the end of it. It's crazy. And I understand why like guys do it as a religious exercise, because it is like literally the hardest thing ever, because we're programmed from the time we're born to eat whenever, and to just not do that, especially in, you know, when there's food everywhere, is tough.
It's tough. It's tough on our body, and it's tougher on our mind. And what I'm realizing is a couple things also. Like, I have a very clear reason to do this. So you got to have a why.
Yeah.
You got to have a why to do it. But remember when Chris Suarez was on our call, and he just talked about basically having rules. You know, I've had this rule in the office for a long time. I don't eat sugar here. I just don't. Like, there's freaking candy. There's donuts, all these things. And I just made a rule. And that way I just know, like, I love donuts. But if I apply to those rules and I stay true to myself, you know, when they brought in donuts a couple weeks ago, they're like passing them around, and look, no, eat a donut. Like, that's okay. Like, you know, But when they came to my office, they're like, "Oh, you don't want any donuts, do you?" Like they know, like those are my
Yep.
options. Like people now know, like banning, they know, like, and maybe at first it's just kind of like drinking alcohol. People are like, "Why aren't you drinking?" But after some time, like, "Oh, you don't drink, right?" Like they just that's just a rule. It's just what I do. It's just who I am. And it makes things easier for me. And that was my share is kind of when we create these rules and laws within ourselves around whatever they are, it might make it easier for us when we just follow that 100%. I'm 100% or nothing kind of guy.
It's so much easier when you make that rule because like studies show that making a decision takes willpower. So it's like I would love a piece of chocolate cake, and instead of having to justify like, oh, I'll have a little, just a little bit, and then a little bit turns into a little bit more, and you keep like inching that line. You're just like, oh, the decision's already made that yes or no. Like I know that this is a no, and it's simple and it's done, and I get to go think about something else.
That's right. Yep. Yep. And I'll tell you what, meal planning is pretty damn easy when all you got is a jug of water.
Yeah, it actually really is great for your grocery spend too.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, what you got, man?
All right. So what I would tell you is, or what I tell everybody is, it's so important to understand that so many people, want to help. Like you're saying, you're eating this diet or whatever. So many people want to help, but they don't really know anything at all about your body or your life. So I'm a type 2 diabetic. One of the agents here in this office, she's in incredible shape. She's a trainer, and she's, I didn't realize it was kind of like a multi-level marketing scheme, but she's like, here, buy these protein shakes every month for $100. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, and then one of my brothers was at the house, and he's super healthy and works out all the time. He's crazy, man. And he's like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. This Jennifer girl sold them to me, and like it's a meal replacement. And he's like, dude, you're freaking diabetic. You can look, and then he like looks at the ingredients, like you absolutely cannot eat this shit. So it's still in my pantry. It's like 2 years expired. But like she was trying to be helpful, but like it doesn't work for my body. And then there was a guy here, super nice young guy, loan officer. He's pounding like 5 monsters a day when like Monster and all that crazy crap came out. And then he had 2 little kids. Told me he went for a life insurance policy, did a blood panel. His numbers, his kidneys or liver was way like danger zone. And they're like, what's the deal? And he's like, well, I drink 5 monsters a day. It's like, you're damaging your liver and your kidney. So some of that shit it's just so bad for you, even though, younger people are drinking Red Bull and vodka or stupidness like that. Like you got to be so careful. And that's how I got, that's what damaged my internal organs is I had a doctor giving me this ridiculous medicine, and we never did the blood work for years to realize that the stupid drug she gave me, the number one side effect was diabetes. So by the time we figured it out, like she had already damaged my pancreas or spleen or whatever. And like, I almost freaking died. Had I not gone for that blood test, the gloppy glucose blood that hit a facial nerve that paralyzed my face for a week, if it hit my heart or my my lungs or my brain, I would have died, just because like I didn't properly do the medical stuff. It was the doctor's fault, but we missed that step.
Wow.
So you just got to be super careful on, I don't want to call you and Banding's fasting thing like a fad diet, but there's so much more like that you got to be careful about.
Yeah.
No, it's so important. The blood work thing.
Yeah.
Like we do we're all in the same business. We do all of this analytics and data and tracking and all these things to know exactly like if I make this number of calls, this is what happens. If I move this lever, this happens. Like we need to do that with our body. And until I got blood work done, we're all just guessing. And everyone has a thing. Like my body, because of my genetic profile and the way it works, I do so well on carnivore. If my girlfriend was on carnivore, she'd die. Like that would not work for her. So everything is different for every person. So like go get blood work, please.
Yeah, and Helen was asking, or people were asking, like, what kind of, I just went in for a physical, right? Like, I mean, I just went to the doctor, and like, I have never been to the doctor. I just need to get a physical. And Andrew, it was my naturopathic doctor that prescribed me this Master Cleanse. I worked with him for a decade. He knows my body so dang well. And he just, let's just clean you out. So this wasn't like me going online, but I agree, right? And I think those were good points. And let's hear from Amanda, and then let's get into our meditation.
Well, I was really glad to hear you say that you were seeing a naturopath, Ryan, because one thing that I feel like one thing that helped me a lot was working with a functional medicine doctor, because they tend to look at the whole person, not just, it's not really one size fits all, which a lot of traditional medicine doctors, they're still operating that way. And so some of their lab values are that way that they're looking at. So just having someone that, they call it bio individuality, like you were talking about, we're all unique. And so for someone like me, on the outside, I look like I'm in great shape, but I'm borderline pre-diabetic. And technically I would have high cholesterol, but my good cholesterol is high enough that I don't have to be on statin drugs, which a regular doctor might put me on. So I think finding a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor is good. The one that I work with, I've been with him for almost 15 years. He lives in California. I've never met him. We do everything over the labs and the phone, and it's been awesome. And it changed my health, changed my life.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good share, Amanda. Yeah, it's important that we're just monitoring what we're doing, right? And getting inputs. The doctors to me said, okay, we'll come back in 30 days. Let's do a kidney ultrasound. They're like, kidney ultrasound's good. Come back in 30 days. And I was like, what do I do for these 30 days? Like, I'm not just going to sit and do nothing. They're like, well, just, so I didn't, that wasn't cutting it for me. But, and by the way, guys, Banning has a sword because he's freaking cut. Boom.
Yeah, you guys don't have an office sword?
It's a back scratcher, a fancy back scratcher.
I've been
Yeah.
dying over here. I'm like, no, that's a sword. He's literally holding a sword right now,
Yeah.
and it's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you guys for going on this journey with me. I don't really talk about it all that much because, I don't know. I just don't. And it's new and I'm scared. But thank you for letting me get that out there. And I'm excited to see what this does for me. I'm excited to see where this goes. And yeah, let's get into our meditation. So it's 12:25. We got a good 3-4 minutes and then we'll hop back on. If you got to go, as always, feel free to hop off, but I do encourage everybody to take some time just to themselves. We got plenty of it. Today. We don't got to rush anything. I'll set the timer for just a good 3 minutes. So you don't have to worry about the time. You don't have to worry about anything except for yourself. Just be there with yourself. Focus on your breath. Close your eyes and I'll see you all in 3 minutes. Whenever you're ready, take one last good final deep breath just for yourself. Turn our cameras back on. And we'll wrap up the call, hopefully with a little more energy and a little less stress. Thank you guys for being here with me. I do appreciate it, of course. Any final shares before we continue on with this beautiful day?
Hey, can I just ask Ryan, did you get to look at the chat? Can we make a decision on next week's call? I think the bottom line was a couple of people have commitments, me, and then others said the same thing. It's up to you. You're in charge. If you have family stuff, then there's no call. If you want to do the call and it's not cutting into your family time, then sure, let's have a call. But I think everyone wants sort of you to decide, please.
Let's do the call. If you can make it, great. If you can't make it, that's all good too. We'll see you the following week. So we'll be here next week. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you. Emma, are we changing the link for next week? Do we need to know anything different about next week?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I don't want to do it quite yet until we know for Sheila. I know she already jumped off, but I'm gonna get that answer first. And I've already created a new email for us for Place of Wellness and created YouTube, and I'm about to do the Zoom link. So
Sweet.
I should have that all done by this week. And I'll send out an update to you, Ryan. And I'm not sure the best way of getting it out to everyone, but if you're following, besides Sheila, I'll email separate. If you're following on the site, you should know and get that info.
And then Emma, just let me know if you need me to, do like we talked about, post Monday stuff to the Facebook
Yes.
group and things like that.
Yes,
Okay.
Definitely will.
Because I'm in town. So.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew.
We will be on the call then. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Have a good week. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.